Okay, and welcome again. Welcome to a new class. Welcome to class number 104. Okay, we have a lot of work, so let's start. Camera one. All right. Were the French important in history last century? Yes, they were. Were the French people important 200 years ago? Yes, they were. Were the Mongolians, fijaos en la pronunciación, were the Mongolians important in history 100 years ago? No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Were they important 700 years ago? Yes, they were. Or 800 years ago? Yes, they were. Were the Romans important last year? No, they weren't. Were they important 2,000 years ago? Yes, they were. Were they strong 2,000 years ago? Yes, they were. Were they powerful 2,000 years ago? Yes, they were. And were the people in Spain under Roman domination 2,000 years ago? Yes, they were. Okay. Were. No where. Where es llevar puesto. Were. Were. Fijaos en la pronunciación. Were. So, una pronunciación oscura, baja. Were. I was, you were. He was, we were. She was, they were. It was. Was Spain a country 1,000 years ago? No, it wasn't. Was it a country 500 years ago? Yes, it was. Were the Beatles together 50 years ago? Yes, they were. Were they together 40 years ago? Yes, they were. Were they together 38 years ago? No, they weren't. Were the Beatles French? No, they weren't. Were they Spanish? No, they weren't. Weren't. No, they weren't. Were they North African? No, they weren't. What nationality were they? They were English. They were English. And were they from London? No, they weren't. 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 Were they from Liverpool? Yes, they were. Okay, yes, they were. And were the Rolling Stones from Liverpool? No, they weren't. Were they from Birmingham? No, they weren't. Where were they from? Where were they from? Where were they from? The Rolling Stones, they were from London. Were they a good group? Yes, they were. And today they still are. And were the Beatles a famous group? Yes, they were. Yes, they were. Were the Beach Boys a famous group? Yes, they were. Were they from Liverpool, like the Beatles? No, they weren't. Where were they from? They were from the United States. Were they, si sabéis el verbo quemar, burn, se pronuncia igual, burn. Were they from New York? Who? The Beach Boys. The Beach Boys, no, they weren't. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Were they from Nebraska? No, they weren't. Were they from Wyoming? No, no, they weren't. Were they from Alabama? The Beach Boys? No, they weren't. Were they from Texas? No, they weren't. Where were they from? Where were they? Where were they from? Where were they from? They were from California. Where are you from? Where were you from? Where are you from? Where were they from? Where are the Rolling Stones from? They're from England. Where were, porque ya no están juntos, where were the Beach Boys from? They were from California. Was Frank Sinatra from California? No, he wasn't. Was he from New York? No, he wasn't. Was he from Chicago? No, he wasn't. Was he from Florida? No, he wasn't. Where was he from? He was from New Jersey. Jersey. Was he from Paterson, New Jersey? No, he wasn't. Was he from Newark, New Jersey? No, he wasn't. Where was he from in New Jersey? He was from Hoboken, New Jersey. And you and me, were we together yesterday? Yes, we were. Were we in this classroom yesterday? Yes, we were. Were we friends yesterday? Well, yes, we were. Were we, you and me, were we friends 10 years ago? No, we weren't. No, we weren't. Were we teacher and student 10 years ago? No, we weren't. No, we weren't. Weren't. No, we weren't. No, we weren't. No, we weren't. Weren't. Okay. I'm trying to transmit to you the pronunciation and the sound. Yes, we were. Yes, they were. Yes, I was. Yes, you were. Okay. Was I a teacher 20 years ago? Yes, you were. Was I your teacher 20 years ago? No, you weren't. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Were the Beach Boys from Mexico? No, they weren't. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Were the Beatles from California? No, they weren't. Where were they from? They were from Liverpool. They were from Liverpool. And were the, I can't remember the name of the group, but were the Rolling Stones from England? Yes, they were. Okay. Was I here yesterday? Yes, you were. Was I your teacher yesterday? Yes, you were. Was I in front of the camera yesterday? Yes, you were. Was I in China yesterday? No, you weren't. Weren't. No decimos weren't, decimos weren't. All right. I'll be back after our next teacher in a few minutes.
Muchas gracias, Richard, y bienvenidos. Yo soy Kyle. Welcome. Estoy aquí ahora con Esther. Esther, how are you?
Fine, thank you, Kyle. How are you?
Fine, fantastic. Ready for a review, un repaso. Yes. Are you ready?
Yes, let's go.
Okay, perfect. Vamos a repasar respuestas negativas, ¿vale? Te voy a preguntar unas cosas. Por ejemplo, was Elvis Spanish?
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. And can you give me a longer answer? No, Elvis wasn't.
No, Elvis wasn't Spanish.
No, Elvis wasn't Spanish. Were the Beatles a rap group?
No, they weren't. They weren't a rap group.
No, they weren't a rap group. The Beatles weren't a rap group. No, they weren't a rap group. And you have to say, es una pregunta sí o no, entonces tienes que decir sí o no. No, the Beatles weren't a rap group. Was I born in a Spanish village? Was I born in a Spanish village?
No, you weren't born in a Spanish village.
In a Spanish village?
In a Spanish village.
No, you weren't born in a Spanish village. I wasn't born in a Spanish village, en un pueblo. No, I wasn't born in a Spanish village. Was Ronald Reagan Spanish?
No, he wasn't. Ronald Reagan wasn't Spanish.
Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan.
Ronald
en inglés
Reagan?
no podemos decir Ronald Reagan, sino Ronald Reagan. No, Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan wasn't Spanish.
No. Ronald Reagan wasn't Spanish. Okay. Were we friends 10 years ago, Esther?
No, we weren't friends 10 years ago.
Okay, all right. Was I your neighbor as a child at home? Was I your neighbor? Tu vecino? No. No, Kyle, you weren't my neighbor as a child. No, you weren't my neighbor as a child. Muy bien. Was chocolate invented in the 1980s?
No, chocolate wasn't invented in 1970.
In the 1980s.
In the 1980s.
Now we say chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah, 2 syllables.
Yes.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
No, chocolate wasn't invented in the 1980s. Repeat.
No, chocolate.
Chocolate.
Chocolate wasn't invented.
Invented
In the 1980s.
No, chocolate wasn't invented in the 1980s. You're right. Otra vez con Elvis. Was Elvis a basketball player?
No, Elvis wasn't a basketball player.
Was Tiger Woods a famous pilot when he was young?
No, he wasn't. Tiger Woods wasn't a famous pilot when he was young.
Yeah, no, he wasn't a famous pilot. Were we here 8 hours ago?
No, we weren't here 8 hours ago.
Okay. Ask me if it was hot yesterday.
Was it hot yesterday?
Yeah. Was it hot yesterday? Ask me. Was it hot yesterday? Well, no, not really. It wasn't hot yesterday. Ask me if I was born in Africa.
Were you born in Africa?
Okay. And at home, ask me. Were you born in Africa? No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't born in Africa. Ask me if my mother was in France yesterday.
Was your mother in France yesterday?
Good. No, my mother wasn't in France yesterday. Ask me if there was a blizzard yesterday. A blizzard. Do you know what a blizzard is?
No.
Una tormenta de nieve, pero muy profundo. ¿Se puede decir? Muy profundo? Muy fuerte. A blizzard.
Blizzard.
Ask me if there was a blizzard yesterday.
There was a blizzard.
Oh, was there?
Was there a blizzard yesterday?
Was there a blizzard yesterday? No. Aquí no. Quizás en otro sitio, pero aquí no. No, there wasn't a blizzard yesterday. No. Ask me if I was angry at her in the last class. Ask me. Kyle, were you angry at Esther in the last class? No. No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't angry at Esther. No. Ask me if Christopher Columbus was Canadian.
Was Christopher Columbus Canadian?
No, he wasn't.
No.
Christopher Columbus wasn't Canadian. Ask me if Canada was discovered last week.
Was Canada discovered last week?
No, it wasn't. It was discovered a long time ago. Ask me if my father was here this morning.
Was your father here this morning?
Yes. No, he wasn't. No, my father wasn't here this morning. Ask me if I was a great football player when I was young. Ask me. Kyle, were you a great football player when you were young? No, I wasn't a great football player when I was young. Were you a great football player when you were young?
No, I wasn't a football player when I was young.
Not a great football player?
No.
Okay. Good job, Esther. Muy bien hecho en casa. Ahora os dejo con Richard. Bye-bye.
All right. Ask me where I was 10 minutes ago. Richard, where were you? Where were you 10 minutes ago? I was here, in front of you. Ask me if I was using camera number 2 10 minutes ago. Richard, were you using camera 2? No, I wasn't. I was using camera number 1. And now, let's change. I want to change to camera number 1. 1, 2, 3. All right. Ask me if I was here 2 hours ago. Ask me if I was here. If I was. Ask me. Yeah, pregúntamelo. Ask me if I was here 2 hours ago. Richard, were you here? Were you here 2 hours ago? No, I wasn't. Ask me if I was at home 2 hours ago. Richard, were you at home 2 hours ago? Were you at home 2 hours ago? No, 2 hours ago, no, I wasn't. Ask me if I was in my office 2 hours ago. Richard, were you in your office? Were you in your office 2 hours ago? No, I wasn't. Ask me where I was 2 hours ago. Richard, where were you 2 hours ago? I was in a radio station. Okay. And ask me if Maria was in the radio station too. Excuse me? Ask me if Maria was in the radio station with me 2 hours ago. Well, was Maria in the radio station with you 2 hours ago? No, she wasn't. Ask me if Maria was here yesterday. Richard, was Maria here yesterday? Yes, she was. Ask me if she's here now. Is she here now? Yes, she is. Was she here this morning? Yes, she was. Ask me if she was here 2 hours ago. Was Maria here 2 hours ago? Yes, she was. Maria is always here. Maria is part of the equipment here, the mobiliario. Yeah, Maria is part. She's here always, 24 hours a day, all right? Now, ask me if I was in Portugal last year. Were you in Portugal last year? No, I wasn't. Ask me if Portugal was a country 500 years ago. Was Portugal a country 500 years ago? Yes, it was. Ask me what city was the capital of Portugal 500 years ago. What city was the capital of Portugal 500 years ago? The capital of Portugal 500 years ago was Lisbon. And ask me what city was the capital of Spain 500 years ago. What city was the capital of Spain 500 years ago? Let's see, 500 years ago was 1509. So the capital of Spain was Valladolid or Toledo. I can't remember which. And what city was the capital of Spain 400 years ago? Oh, that's easy. The capital of Spain 400 years ago was Madrid. And what city was the capital of Germany 30 years ago? Which Germany? East Germany or West Germany? East Germany. Okay. The capital 30 years ago. Okay, yeah. All right, the capital of East Germany 30 years ago was Berlin. And what city was the capital of West Germany? The capital of West Germany was Bonn. Oh, okay. And what city was the capital of the United States 300 years ago? 300 years ago, there wasn't a capital because the United States wasn't a country 300 years ago. The capital of the United States 300 years ago was London, basically, because the United States was were colonies. Okay, the first before the United States there were 13 colonies, 13. Okay, and were the colonies on the East Coast or on the West Coast? They were on the East Coast. Okay. Were they in North America or in South America? Well, they were in North America, of course. Were they north of Canada or south of Canada? The American colonies, they were south of Canada. And were they independent? No, they weren't. Okay, were they cold in the winter? Yes, they were. Were they hot in the summer? Yes, they were. And was Oklahoma a state 100 years ago? Yes, it was. Was it a state of the United States 200 years ago? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Was Alaska a state 100 years ago? No, it wasn't. Was it a state 50 years ago? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And was this class interesting yesterday? Yeah, yes, it was. Was it difficult? No, it wasn't. Was it fun? Well, for me, yes, it was. And was it complicated? No, it wasn't. Was it productive? Yes, it was. Was it stimulating? Yes, it was. Was it hard? No, it wasn't. Was it easy? A little, perhaps. Yes, it was. Was it boring? No, it wasn't. Was it passionately exciting? No, it wasn't. Okay. Was it important? Yes, it was. This class yesterday was important, and this class today is important as well. Or, this class today is important too. Okay? But now we have to stop for a few minutes because our sponsors have something to say, and you need to see the essentials. Okay, were the Germans allies of the French in the Second World War? No, they weren't. Were the Germans allies of the British in the Second World War? No, they weren't. Were the Germans allies of the Italians during the Second World War? Well, they were allies of Mussolini during the Second World War. Not necessarily of the Italian people, but of the Italian state, yes. Okay. Were. Where were you yesterday? Where were you last week? Where were you 10 years ago? Where were you 50 years ago? Where were? Okay, we'll continue in a few minutes after another teacher.
Thank you, Richard. Gracias, Richard. Hello, everyone. Hola a todos. I'm Hannah, soy Hannah. Y ahora vamos a practicar con el verbo were, okay? El verbo to be en pasado, en interrogativo. Pero primero, but first, let's say hello to my student for today, Silvana. Hi, Silvana.
Hi, Hannah.
How are you today?
Very great.
Good.
And you?
Okay, good. Muy bien. Sí. Hay que preguntar a la profe también qué tal estoy. Okay, I'm very good. Thank you for asking. Okay. So we're going to start, a ver, otra vez, con el verbo to be en pasado. Okay, but ahora vamos a practicar solo con ¿qué personas? A ver, con segunda persona singular y también todas personas plurales. Okay, usando el verbo were en interrogativo. So, ask me if I was here 2 days ago.
Were you here 2 days ago?
Very good. Good. Repeat again. A ver.
Were you here 2 days ago?
Perfect. Muy bien. Perfecto. So, Silvana said, were you here 2 days ago? And remember, recordad, usamos ago con pasado simple. Aquí, hace 2 días, 2 days ago. Were you here 2 days ago? Good, muy bien. Ask me if we were friends 3 years ago?
Were we friends 3 years ago?
Okay, good. Repeat again.
Were we
Were.
we friends 3 years ago?
Very good. Muy bien, muy bien. Were. So, fijaos muy bien en la pronunciación. Were. Not where, no, where. Where is donde. Okay, where is my food? Where is my paella? Where is my bocadillo? So that's where. Eso es donde. Pero no queremos where, queremos were. Hay que cerrar un poco más los labios, así. Were. Repeat, were.
Were.
Good, again.
Were.
Perfect, muy bien. So, the question was, otra vez repito la pregunta. Were we friends 3 years ago? Okay, bien, siguiente. Ask me if they were in Rome together.
Were they in Rome?
Repeat.
Were
They is día. They.
They.
Eso.
they?
Eso es. Repeat.
Were they in Rome last year?
Together.
Together?
Okay, muy bien. Okay, good. Okay, no me cambies la frase, Silvana. Okay. So repeat again.
Were they together?
Were they in Rome?
Were they in Rome together?
Okay.
Yes.
Ya. Siempre quieren cambiarme la frase. No, okay, usa mi frase. So, my question was, ask me if they were in Rome together. Y ya. Okay, so repite la pregunta.
Were they in Rome together?
Muy bien. Good, eso es. Okay. Bien, so were they, TH. Now, lo he dicho 1000 veces, lo voy a decir otra vez más. They, TH. So, ¿qué hacemos? Sacamos la lengua un pelín, right? Entre los dientes y soplamos. Were they in Rome together? Okay. ¿Por qué? Si dices they, eso suena como day de día, con una D, y no es una D. They es con TH. They. Puedes ver mi lengua aquí, ¿no? They.
They.
¿Sí? ¿La ves? They. Ok, muy bien. Ask me if I was an English teacher 7.5 years ago.
Were you teacher?
An English teacher.
Were you an English teacher 7.5 years ago?
Good. Muy bien. Ole. Okay. Repeat again.
Were you an English teacher 7.5 years ago?
Okay. Very good. Yes, I was. Sí. Llevo ya muchos años. Okay. So, yes. Let me repeat the question. Silvana said, were you, right? Were you an English teacher? Remember, hay que poner an. ¿Por qué? English empieza por un sonido de vocal, por un vocal. So hay que poner el artículo an. So, were you an English teacher 7.5, 7 años y medio, 7.5 years ago? Yes, I was. So, ask me if we were sick last month.
Were we sick last month?
Okay, good. Repeat again.
Were we sick last month?
Very good. Month.
Okay,
muy bien. So remember, month, mes. Month se escribe M-O-N-T-H, pero esa O se pronuncia como si fuera una A. Month. Igual cuando decimos money, dinero, nunca decimos money, no, otra vez típico el Spanish, no queremos esa pronunciación. So, money, también month, esas O's se pronuncia como si fueran As, okay? So, let me repeat the question. Were we sick last month? Okay. Ask me if they were married.
Were they married?
Okay, good. Were they? Okay, saca la lengua un pelín, por favor.
Were they married?
Okay, very good. Married.
Married.
Muy bien. Were they, again, Podéis verla, ¿eh? You can see my tongue here. Podéis ver mi lengua aquí. Were they married? Were they married? Ask me if we were in class yesterday.
Were we in class yesterday?
Okay, very good. Repeat again. Muy bien.
Were we in class yesterday?
Very good. Excellent. Muy bien. I'll repeat. Were we. Again, were. Were. A ver, todos en casa. Repeat it with me, conmigo. Were. Were we in class yesterday? Ask me if I was his boss.
Were you his boss?
Okay, good. Repeat again.
Were you his boss?
Okay, boss.
Boss.
Eso, boss. Boss.
Were you his boss?
Boss.
Boss.
Okay, muy bien. Very good. So, were you his boss? Were you his boss? Ask me if they were upset.
Were they upset?
Very good. Muy bien. Were they upset? So, upset, disgustados. Were they upset? Okay, muy bien. Very good. So, please keep practicing. Seguir practicando y os veo en la próxima clase. Bye bye.
Okay, welcome back. Translation list. And today, with special emphasis on possessive pronouns. Camera 1. Él es amigo mío. He's a friend of mine. 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 He is a friend of mine. Es amigo mío. He is a friend of mine. He's a friend of mine. He's a friend of mine. Is he a friend of yours? Yes, he is. He's a friend of mine. Is he a friend of yours? Yes, he is. He's a friend of mine. Yo soy amigo de él, o sea, suyo. I'm a friend of his. I'm a friend of his. I'm a friend of his. Hay dos consonantes aquí que un poco mandan en la ecuación fonética. La M de I'm enlaza con I'm a. Y luego la D al final de friend. Escuchad. I'm a friend of. I'm a friend of his. He's a friend of mine, and I'm a friend of his. De hecho, la D de friend of, un amigo de mío, es lo que decimos en inglés literalmente. A friend of. Practicad con la D dura de friend. Friend of mine, a friend of yours, a friend of his, a friend of hers, a friend of ours, a friend of theirs. Friend of, frienda, como Brenda. Hola Brenda, ¿qué tal? Hello, hola. Imaginad la chica que se llama Brenda. Cambiemos la B a un F. Frienda. Friend of. Friend of mine. Friend of yours. Friend of his. So, yo soy amigo de él. I'm a friend of his. I'm a friend of his. Eres amigo de ella. Tú eres amigo de ella, ¿eh? You're a friend of hers. Frienda. Hola Brenda. Frienda. You're a friend of hers. You are. You're. Hiena, hiedra, hierba, you're. You're a friend of hers. I'm a friend of his. He's a friend of mine. You're a friend of hers. Okay? Ella es amiga tuya. She's a friend of yours. A friend of yours. A friend of yours. She's a friend of yours. Somos amigos nuestros. Son amigos nuestros. They're friends of ours. Ahora bien, ahora la D de friend ya no manda, ¿eh? Porque hay una S. Son amigos nuestros. They're friends of ours. They are, contracción, they're friends of ours. Okay, they're friends of ours. Y nosotros somos amigos de ellos. We're friends of theirs. They're friends of ours. And we're friends of theirs. Hay muchos amigos aquí, mucha amistad en esta clase hoy. We're friends of theirs. Escrito deirs, theirs. And they're friends of ours. we're friends of theirs, and they are, they're, friends of ours. Los míos y los de ella son parecidos. Mine, los míos, y los de ella son similares o parecidos. Mine and hers are similar. Mine and hers are similar. Okay? Mine are similar to hers, and hers are, los suyos son, los suyos de ella. Hers are similar to mine. Mine are similar to hers, and hers are similar to mine. So, mine and hers, mine and hers, mine and hers are similar. Oh, este es el final. This is the end, por fin. This is the end. This is the end. Tomorrow, the world will come to an end. So this is the end. Los caballos son bonitos. A ver, traducidme esto. Escuchado otra vez. Los caballos son bonitos. No. Horses are pretty. Horses are pretty. The horses, no. Horses are pretty, but the horses in that ranch are ugly. In general, horses are beautiful, pretty. Horses are pretty, but the horses I saw yesterday weren't pretty, okay? Los caballos son bonitos en general. Los caballos son bonitos. Horses are pretty. Los elefantes son grandes. Elephants are big. Los tigres son peligrosos. Tigers are dangerous. Los regidores son peligrosos. Floor managers are dangerous, especially Maria. All right? Este no es el único. Este no es el único. This isn't the only one. This isn't the only one. And this list, este no es la única de las listas. This isn't the only one. There are a lot more. La mujer de Pepe es muy guapa. ¿Eh? Pepe's wife is very pretty. Pepe's wife is very pretty. All right? Pepe's wife, Pepe's wife, Pepe's wife, Pepe's wife. Manolo's wife. Pedro's wife. Pepe's wife is very pretty. Tu problema es sencillo. Your problem is simple. Simple. Your problem is simple. Okay. Repasemos un poquito. Él es amigo mío. He's a friend of mine, and I'm a friend of his. He's a friend of mine, Brenda, friend of. He's a friend of mine, and I'm a friend of his. He's a friend of mine, and I'm a friend of his. Okay? Tú eres amigo de ella. You're a friend of hers, and she's a friend of yours. Yeah. You're a friend of hers. De Brenda, nuestra amiga Brenda. Es frienda, yours. Brenda's a friend of yours. So she's a friend of yours, and you're a friend of hers. She is a friend of yours, and you're, que es contracción de you are, you're a friend of hers. She's a friend of yours, and you're a friend of hers. Ellos son amigos nuestros. They're friends of ours, and we're friends of theirs. They're friends of ours, and we're friends of theirs. They're friends of ours, and we're friends of theirs. They're friends of ours, and we're friends of theirs. Are you a friend of mine? Am I a friend of yours? Is she a friend of yours? Are you a friend of hers? Are they friends of ours? Are we friends of theirs? I hope I'm a friend of yours, and I hope you're a friend of mine. I hope she's a friend of yours, and I hope you're a friend of hers. Okay. Well, not bad. I'll be back in just a few minutes after our next teacher to close this program, okay? See you in a minute.
Thank you, Richard. Hello, everyone. I'm Natasha, your teacher for today, for this beginner's level, okay? Today, I'm here with a very, very special student, okay? Her name is Esther. How are you, Esther?
How are you, Natasha? Fine.
I'm great. You said many things together. Ha dicho muchas cosas juntas. ¿Qué tal estás? Yo estoy muy bien.
Sí.
Bueno, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Are you excited?
Yes, a little.
A little, solo un poco.
Yes.
No mucho.
Well.
Ah, bueno, ya se va a poner más emocionante la clase cuando hagamos la lista de traducción, ¿vale?
Sí.
Okay, I hope you are excited too. Espero que también estés emocionado, pero no un poco, sino mucho, ¿vale? Bueno, vamos a empezar con el vocabulario, ¿vale? Como ya sabéis, tenemos que aprender 5 palabras todos los días y lo que es muy, muy importante es intentar conseguir la pronunciación correcta de cada palabra, ¿vale? Entonces lo que tenéis que hacer es escuchar muy atentamente a cómo lo digo yo y lo tenéis que repetir en voz alta en casa, ¿vale? Muy, muy importante. No hay que decir las palabras en vuestra mente, sino que hay que intentar decirlo en voz alta, porque para eso están los idiomas, ¿vale? Bueno, vamos a empezar, ¿vale? Acordaros, yo lo digo en español y vosotros en inglés, claro. Bueno, la primera palabra, sentir. ¿Cómo se dice sentir? Very good. To feel. To feel. Repeat. Very good. Como si fuera con una I larga. Feel. Feel. Muy bien. Bueno, vamos a ver si lo puede decir Esther.
To feel.
Very good. Más larga la E o la I.
To feel.
Very good. Porque es una E, pero realmente se pronuncia como si fuera una I. ¿Ok? To feel. Muy bien. Bueno, la siguiente palabra es conseguir. Very good. To get. To get. ¿Vale? Esa G es G. ¿Vale? To get. Y quiero escuchar esa T final. ¿Ok? To get. One more time. Very good. Ok, Esther, your turn. Te toca a ti.
To get.
Very good pronunciation. To get, ¿ok? La siguiente palabra es cortar. ¿Cómo se dice esto? Very good. To cut. To cut. Como si fuera realmente con una A más que una U. To cut. One more time. Very good. Esther, te toca.
To cut.
Very good pronunciation. Ok. La siguiente palabra es producir. Very good. To produce. To produce. Como si fuera D-I-U. To produce. One more time. Very good. Esther, your turn.
To produce.
Very good pronunciation. Y la última palabra es necesitar. ¿Cómo decimos esto en inglés? Very good. To need. To need. Otra vez con esa I larga, ¿ok? To need. Ok, Esther, the last word. Let's see if you can say it.
To need.
Very good. To need. Very good. Bueno, ahora vamos a hacer la lista de traducción, pero antes quiero preguntarle a Esther if she's excited about the translation list. Are you excited?
Yes, I am.
How excited? ¿Cómo de emocionada?
A lot.
A lot. Very good. Ya sabe lo que tiene que contestar. Bueno, vamos a empezar. Como ya sabéis, yo voy a decir la frase en español y vosotros en inglés. ¿Ok? All right, let's start. You ready?
Yes.
Él es amigo mío.
He's my friend. He's friend of mine.
He's a friend
of
of mine. He's my friend es mi amigo,
amigo.
¿ok? Pero esto es amigo mío, ¿vale? ¿Puedes repetir?
He's a friend of mine.
Very good. He's a friend of mine, ¿ok? Con el pronombre posesivo. He's a friend of mine. Vale, la siguiente frase para vosotros en casa. Yo soy amigo de él. Very good. I'm a friend of his. I'm a friend of his. Acordaros que siempre que sea en singular hay que poner el artículo a o an, ¿ok? Bueno, en este caso como es friend siempre va a ser a, ¿ok? Esther, can you repeat that sentence? Soy amigo de él.
I'm a friend of his.
Very, very good. Ok, el siguiente. Tú eres amigo de ella.
You are a friend of her.
Of hers, porque
Of
es el
hers,
pronombre
yes.
posesivo, no el adjetivo posesivo. Entonces, ¿cómo es? You're a friend of hers, ¿vale? Of mine, of yours, of his, of hers, ¿ok? Can you repeat?
You are a friend of hers.
Very good. And contracting?
You are a friend of
Your?
hers. You're a friend of hers.
Perfect. Okay. Next sentence for you at home, okay? Ella es amiga tuya. Very good. She's a friend of yours. She's a friend of yours. Very, very good. Okay, next one for Esther, okay? Son amigos nuestros.
They are friend of us.
They're friends
Friends.
of ours.
They are friends of ours.
Very good. They're friends of ours. En este caso, como friends está en plural, no tenemos que poner a, ¿vale? Directamente es they're friends of ours. ¿Ok? Muy bien. Vale, la siguiente para vosotros. Somos amigos de ellos. Very good. We're friends of theirs. We're friends of theirs. Very, very good. Okay, next one for Esther. Los míos y los de ella son parecidos.
Mine and hers are similar.
Very, very good. Lo dijiste muy insegura, pero muy, muy
Yes.
bien. Otra vez.
Mine and hers are similar.
Very good. Mine and hers are similar. Next one for you at home. Este es el final. Very good. This is the end. This is the end. ¿Vale? Hay que pronunciar the porque empieza con vocal la siguiente palabra. Vale. Siguiente frase para Esther. Los caballos son bonitos.
The horses,
Pero
no.
en general. Entonces,
Horses
Very
are
good.
beautiful.
very good. Horses are beautiful. Cuando hablamos en general no ponemos the, ¿vale? Bueno, siguiente frase para vosotros. Este no es el único. Very good. This isn't the only one. This isn't the only one. ¿Ok? Mucho cuidado que only, al empezar con una O, con una vocal, hay que decir the y no the. ¿Ok? Entonces la frase es, este no es el único. This isn't the only one. ¿Ok? Next one for Esther. You ready?
Yes.
La mujer de Pepe es muy guapa.
Pepe's wife is very beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Pepe's wife.
Solo tiene una mujer.
Oh, pobre. Pepe's wife is very beautiful.
Vale, very beautiful. Hay que hacer esa diferencia entre very y después beautiful. Una vez más.
Pepe's wife is very beautiful.
Very good, very good. Pepe's wife is very beautiful, ¿ok? La siguiente frase para vosotros en casa. Tu problema es sencillo. Tu problema es sencillo. Very good. Your problem is simple. Your problem is simple, okay? Let's get Esther to repeat this last sentence.
Your problem is simple.
Vale, bueno, muchísimas gracias, Esther, lo has hecho todo genial y vosotros en casa también. Remember to study, to review, and to practice as much as possible. See you, bye.
Okay, class 104 finished. And remember, you need to practice saying many sentences aloud. You have vocabulary booklets and you have translation booklets at home. If you're a normal student, if you're an official student of this program, take those books, especially the sentences, especially the translation booklet. Look at those sentences in English and say them aloud, linking, practicing. And you need to say, a friend of mine, a friend of yours, a friend of his, a friend of hers, a friend of ours, a friend of theirs, a friend of mine. He's a friend of mine. He's a friend of yours. He's a friend of hers. He's a friend of ours. He's a friend of theirs. And you have to continue practicing. Es pesado, pero es esencial para llegar a un dominio de un segundo idioma. Esencial. See you tomorrow.